All right, how's it going, everyone? It's Triple T. To all of my classmates, can't wait to see you all again at orientation year two. To all of the incoming students, congratulations on making to medical school. I know that you all must be very excited and nervous at the same time. It's definitely a huge transformation. So I'm going to try and make it easier for you all. What I did was I got some of my classmates to join together and make some clips, just some advice on how to survive your first year, and even some other helpful advice outside of that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Rohan, who stole one of my tips. You're going to be in big trouble when I see you on campus, buddy.
Hello, class of 2028. My name is Rohan S, and I am a rising second year. And I just want to start off by saying congratulations on coming to NICOM. And I think my one piece of advice would be to always take advice with a grain of salt. You're going to get so much information within the first couple of weeks on how to study, on what not to do, different techniques. And you need to find the right fit for you, because one technique might work for another person and another technique might work for you. You have to find that right balance. It's going to be like, drinking water straight out of a fire hose. You're going to get so much information at once, but you need to take the first pre-comp as a learning tool and go from there.
Hey guys, my name is Kyle Dixon. I'm a second year medical student here at NYIT, and I want to thank Triple T for having us on and giving us a platform to give you guys some advice. I hope it helps. I'm going to start with, I have a few list of things I want to mention that got me through my first year of med school. And also congrats on getting to med school in the first place. You should really be proud of yourselves. Not a lot of people get to this place, even though they dream about it their whole lives. So it's good you got here. So the first piece of advice is basically to block out the noise. You guys are brand new to med school. I remember when I started, everybody was nonstop talking about their study methods and how hard is the test going to be and how much is this graded for and what's on the syllabus, and everybody's just panicking about everything. Block it out. You have to know the information from the labs and the class lectures online, and that's it. Just know the information as best as you can, study as hard as you can, and you'll be fine. You don't have to have a million outside resources. You don't have to use Anki. You could use anything that works for you. And I think as time goes on, you'll find what works best for you. It took me a little bit in the beginning, but I found my groove. Number two is there's really great mentors at our school. I think, especially in the research realm, if you want to get into research, there's really research in any form of science you can really think of. If you really like animals, there's things for that. If you like engineering, the school is great for that. There's plenty of computer science stuff. Labs are always looking for neuro students who are interested in neurology and neuro research. And also, through the research, you'll in no doubt get a mentor as well to work with. Also, another piece of advice is just take advantage of in-person learning. Our lectures are all online, so we don't really get to talk to doctors and PhDs that much, but in labs you do, and that's your time to really shine and pick these people's brains, because that's, at least for me, my first year, the most things that I learned were definitely in person during that time, especially in the anatomy lab with our scholars and our PhD professors who are doctors in their own lanes. Next is, even though it's cliche, just try to still do what you love. I think it's even better if you can still do what you love and make it something that you can put on your CV or your resume and still love doing it. So like for me, for example, I like sports and exercise, and we have Rock Steady Boxing on campus. And this past summer, I've been able to do a lot with that. Triple T is one of the coaches there. So you're able to blend doing something that's sort of clinically relevant, something that's volunteering, and something that you really are passionate about. So I suggest you look for something in that realm, if possible. And I'm talking about anything with that in that aspect. The last bullet point I have is just try to maintain a schedule. Try to wake up maybe at the same time every day. Hit studying as best as you can the same times every day is good. And try to maintain the best schedule. And the last thing is try to have a good mindset, because it is inevitable you will feel some burnout, especially second semester. At first, it's really easy to study, it seems, and like you're putting in a lot of hours. And then as time goes on, it tends to drag. And sometimes you do so well in the classes early on that the last exam, you don't need many points to pass. And some students get like lazy at the end. I suggest not doing that. And I suggest to have the mindset of, I get to do this stuff and not I have to do this stuff. So instead of saying I have to study, just say I get to study today. I get to go to lab and learn stuff that 90% of the population on this planet will probably never learn. So it's definitely a privilege to be here, and I think NYIT is an amazing school. And yeah, that's it. I wish you guys luck. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Alessandro Mercado. I'm a second year medical student at NYIT Com, and my advice for the class of 2028 is to make the most of your time here socially and network as much as you can whenever you're able to, because at the end of the day, 4 years from now, you're going to be surrounded and a part of a class of 300 other doctors that will be in your network. So push yourself, go outside your comfort zone, and meet new people every single day, because you never know where your connections and where your relationships will take you in the future, and they're incredibly important to having a successful career as a future physician. So thanks for having me, and good luck and have fun in med school here at NYIT Com.
Hi, my name is Sarah. My two pieces of advice for the incoming class are, firstly, to know that it's okay to leave emails on read or text messages on read, and know that most people will be very understanding that you're in med school. I know I had a lot of anxiety about the fact that I'm usually that person who gets back to everybody right away, and that changed in med school, but just know that it's okay. And then also take a lot of pictures during a block. If you're anything like me, you'll never feel ready for an exam, and you'll never feel like you've done enough. And so being able to look back at pictures of fun things and also just things that you've accomplished it's really helpful in helping to remind yourself that you've done a lot, and med school's hard, but it's also amazing. Have a great start to your semester.
All right, how's it going, everyone? It's Triple T, in case you all didn't know. So my advice to all of you would be to become more of a morning person. I know early mornings absolutely suck. Allow me to explain. I used to be that guy who'd go to bed at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. I would be playing video games or watching YouTube for those 2 hours straight after I was done studying. 2 hours, to put it lightly. That's 14 hours a week. I know it's all relaxing, but do you know what else is relaxing? Sleeping. When you're sleeping, you could be thinking about the material that you learned that day. You wake up, it's somewhat fresh in your mind. You're overall feeling much more productive, efficient, and happier. I don't know about you guys, but when I would get up at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, I would still be tired, like, don't bother me, and I would be saying, what am I doing with my life? Yet, I would do it again and again and again. I guess we all have a tendency towards laziness. Anyway, something else that I find helpful on top of that would be to add something else in the morning after you get up early that would really get you going. So for me, that was Rock City Boxing. I may or may not be plugging it right now, but I would do it at 8 o'clock, get out at 9, and I'm really ready to start the day. It's such an empowering feeling, especially when you're using it to help others and you're exercising at the same time. There is no losing in that situation. When I was referring to all those so-called time wasters earlier, I'm not saying that it's all a complete waste of time. I'm instead suggesting that you should be using it to break up your studying. It shouldn't be something that you do when you're done for the day, because you could be spending it sleeping, as I was saying earlier. Instead, strategize it a bit. After you do a lecture or have class, why don't you just take an hour to yourself and do something that's unproductive, just something to break up all of the stuff in your mind. Just enjoy yourself. The ultimate goal is to avoid the burnout, the kind where you're really getting to heavy metal because you're stressed out of your mind. May or may not have happened to me, but don't be scared. We actually really love it here. I wouldn't give it up for anything. I really love medical school. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to give a little summary now of what I was saying earlier. And so it would be become more of a morning person, getting up earlier and waking up earlier, still getting about 8 hours, and doing something productive once you wake up. And lastly, using those so-called unproductive things in order to break up all of the stress. All right, now I'm officially done. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. See you all around.
Hi everyone, welcome to med school. My name's Tommy Chicolella. I'm a rising second year. And my advice for the incoming first year students, firstly, is to definitely figure out what resources that your medical school has or what other students have, like second year students. When I was a first year, gave us like Anki decks that we were able to download, gave us a lot of advice on which resources that you should use because there's so many out there. So really just trying to figure out, do you want to buy a subscription to this one service instead of buying, like the hundreds that are out there that are available to you. So definitely figure out, what other students have used, what the school suggests, and what's free. I know that our school helps put out like study schedules and like academic checklists. So like every lecture you can check off in an Excel spreadsheet. I use that religiously. Another thing that I would absolutely suggest is to take care of your mental health. If you have any inkling that you may have anxiety or depression, go see one of the counselors, go see your own doctor or psychiatrist to get an appointment, just to really help take care of yourself. And especially if you think you have any issues with your attention, like, maybe there's some ADD underlying there. Don't hesitate to reach out. Absolutely go see one of the counselors, again, or your doctors or whomever. I know many people that ended up falling behind or not doing well academically because they had some untreated or undiagnosed ADD or any other kind of issues with their attention. And med school moves very fast, so if you have an issue and even if you have like a bad week or a bad couple days, it's really quick that you can fall behind. Another thing is that now that a lot of med schools, including our own, is pass fail, that means that there's no longer grades to differentiate all of us when we go towards residency. So unfortunately, you kind of like have to do research. So my advice would definitely be to just reach out early on to any professors or any doctors in the area, make the connections, say, hey, I'm interested in even shadowing or just seeing like what you're doing in your lab or whatever, and just make the connections so that you can have an easier time finding research opportunities. A lot of them are just first come, first serve. There's, if there's one professor, they can only oversee so many different projects at once. And I think maybe the last thing and probably the best thing that I was told by one of the academic scholars, which is the third year students that take a year off to do research and to teach lectures in lab, was that you just cannot learn everything. There's so much information in medicine, and then there's so much that they teach us, and then there's just so much that you can learn. So you have to just get comfortable with saying, I'm just not going to learn this right now or ever. So you just really have to be able to just kind of chop stuff off and say, this is too much detail for me. Or after spending too much time on one lecture, saying, I have 20 other lectures that I need to watch, I'm just going to move on. Even though you're not 100% confident in the material, you just got to move on. Like it's just say it's one lecture, maybe it's going to be 2 questions on the exam, just move on. There's other material that you have to understand. And a lot of the stuff, a lot of the lectures overlap, and 2, a lot of the body systems overlap. So, I mean, not only are the professors kind of repeating themselves, but like your human body, just everything is intertwined. It'll click later on when you watch it for the 3rd time in a different lecture. So best of luck to everyone. You can always reach out to any of us, including myself, if you have any questions. Good luck.
Hi everyone, my name is Surbhi P. I am in Rising OMS 2. Some advice that I have for first year students include taking lots of breaks and having an optimal school life balance. It can be really challenging to maintain that balance, especially when you're really worried and stressed about doing well. So my recommendation and advice is don't sacrifice the fun things in life for school. Try to maintain an optimal balance. There are a lot of fun things to do on campus, including events, sports teams, and outings that the school plans where you can have a wonderful time. and that can definitely help you succeed. Another tip I have for incoming first year medical students is the importance of having multiple passes through the material. While it may seem that like once you do a lecture, you know it, but really I have really struggled with trying to retain the knowledge, and even with 2 or 3 passes, sometimes I still don't think I have the material down. So try to get in 3 to 5 passes of the material before the big comprehensive exam, and try to get through at least 3 passes before the pre-comp exam. And these passes can take whatever form. It can be the Anki pass, reviewing the lecture again, watching it for a second time, reviewing your notes, also potentially Scholar RX depending on your learning style, but I cannot stress the importance of multiple passes. So wish you all the best this year, and yeah, good luck!